The stars looked peaceful that night. Captain Daniel Wright sat in his command chair aboard the exploration ship Horizon's Edge. His crew had been traveling through deep space for 3 months. They were searching for new planets and resources far from Earth. Lieutenant Maya Johnson worked at her science station. She watched the computer screens carefully. Suddenly, something strange appeared on her monitor. Energy readings spiked across her display. The patterns made no sense. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy signatures," Maya said. Her voice stayed calm, but her hands moved quickly across the controls. "They're coming from the Kepler 442 system, about 2 light-years from our position." Daniel leaned forward in his chair. In 15 years of space exploration, he had never seen readings like these. "Can you identify the source?" Maya shook her head. "Negative, sir. The energy patterns don't match anything in our database. It's not natural. Something artificial is generating these signals." Daniel made his decision quickly. "Set course for those coordinates. Let's investigate." The Horizon's Edge changed direction. Its powerful engines pushed the ship toward the mysterious signals. The crew worked quietly at their stations. Everyone felt the tension in the air. They all knew this could be important. 2 hours later, they arrived at the location. Maya's screens lit up with new data. "Captain, I'm picking up an object. It's small, maybe 3 meters across. The design is unlike anything we've built." Through the main window, they saw it. A silver probe floated in space. Strange symbols covered its surface. Lights pulsed along its edges in patterns that seemed almost alive. The object was clearly made by intelligent beings. "This is it," Daniel whispered. "First contact." Before anyone could respond, bright light erupted from the probe. A scanning beam swept across the Horizon's Edge. Computer systems throughout the ship went crazy. Alarms beeped and flashed. The crew struggled to maintain control. Maya's fingers flew across her keyboard. "It's scanning our entire ship. Our computers, our engines, everything. I can't block it." The scan lasted 30 seconds. Then the probe changed. New symbols appeared on its surface. A transmission began. Numbers and mathematical equations filled the communication screens. "It's trying to talk to us," Maya said with excitement, "using mathematics as a universal language." The message was clear once they decoded it. The probe sent coordinates to a location in neutral space. It also sent a date and time. Then, as quickly as it appeared, the probe vanished. It jumped away using technology humanity hadn't discovered yet. Daniel immediately opened a channel to Earth. "This is Captain Wright of the Horizon's Edge. We have confirmed contact with alien intelligence. Transmitting all data now." Back on Earth, Admiral Frank Morrison received the report at the Orbital Defense Station. He stood in the command center, surrounded by screens and officers. When he finished reading the data, his face grew serious. "Call an emergency meeting," Frank ordered. "Get me the entire United Defense Council. We need to talk now." Within an hour, Earth's military and political leaders gathered in the secure conference room. They watched the video of the alien probe. They studied the mathematical message. Everyone understood what this meant. Humanity was not alone in the universe. "We've spotted more objects," reported Colonel Lisa Sherman. She displayed a star map on the main screen. Red dots marked multiple locations near human space. "At least 20 alien vessels. They're all moving toward our territory." The room fell silent. After years of wondering if intelligent aliens existed, humanity now had its answer. But these aliens weren't saying hello. They were approaching with a fleet. "We need to respond," Frank said firmly. "But carefully. We don't know if they're peaceful or hostile." "I recommend we send the Defiant," suggested General Marcus Webb. "If this goes badly, we need our strongest ship out there." Everyone in the room knew about the Defiant. The massive warship represented 50 years of secret military development. It was a Titan-class battleship, the most powerful vessel humanity had ever built. Earth had 12 of these giants, but the galaxy didn't know that yet. "Commander Jacob Hayes is the right person to lead this mission," Frank said. He's experienced and level-headed. We need someone who won't start a war, but won't back down either." The council voted. The decision was unanimous. Earth would send the Defiant to meet the aliens at the coordinates. They would go ready for anything. At the lunar shipyard, Commander Jacob Hayes received his orders. He stood on the bridge of the Defiant and looked at his crew. Lieutenant Claire Bennett stood at the tactical station. Chief Engineer Peter Coleman monitored the massive engines. Communications Officer Linda Park prepared translation systems. "All hands, this is the commander speaking," Jacob announced through the ship's speakers. "We've been chosen to represent humanity in first contact with an alien civilization. Our mission is to meet them peacefully. But if they threaten Earth, we will defend our home. Prepare for departure." The Defiant came to life. 2,000 crew members moved to their positions. The ship's experimental systems powered up for the first time in actual deployment. Energy flowed through graviton cannons and shield generators. Everything humanity had learned about physics and warfare had gone into building this vessel. As the massive warship left lunar orbit, Earth watched and waited. News of the alien contact spread across the planet. Some people felt fear. Others felt excitement. Everyone wondered the same thing. What would happen when humanity met its galactic neighbors? The Defiant sailed into deep space. Its destination was set. In 3 days, they would reach the coordinates the alien probe had sent. Whatever waited there would change human history forever. Commander Hayes sat in his command chair and thought about the responsibility on his shoulders. The galaxy was about to meet humanity, and humanity was ready to show it had come prepared. The Defiant traveled through the darkness of space. 3 days had passed since leaving Earth. Commander Jacob Hayes walked through the ship's corridors. He wanted to see how his crew was handling the pressure. Everyone knew what was coming. In the engine room, Chief Engineer Peter Coleman checked every system twice. The massive reactors hummed with power. "Everything's running perfectly, sir," Peter reported when he saw the commander. "We're at 100% efficiency. Whatever happens out there, the Defiant won't let you down." Jacob nodded with approval. "Good work, Peter. Keep monitoring those graviton cannons. We've never fired them in actual combat." "They'll work, sir. I guarantee it." Jacob continued his walk. He found Communications Officer Linda Park in her station. She had dozens of screens around her. All of them showed different alien language patterns from the probe's transmission. "Any progress on understanding them?" Jacob asked. Linda looked tired. She had barely slept since they departed. "I'm getting somewhere, sir. Their mathematics is similar to ours. That's a good sign. But their actual language is completely different from anything on Earth. If we have to talk to them, it's going to be difficult. Do your best. That's all I can ask." Lieutenant Claire Bennett ran constant combat drills at the tactical station. She programmed different battle scenarios into the computer. Her job was to protect the ship if fighting started. The responsibility weighed on her mind. "The weapon systems are responding faster than expected," Claire told Jacob during one of his visits. "Our targeting computers can track up to 50 objects at once. The aliens won't surprise us." "Let's hope we don't need to use any of it," Jacob replied. On the 3rd day, the Defiant reached the coordinates. The crew went to battle stations. Everyone felt their hearts beating faster. The empty space around them seemed to watch and wait. "Sensor sweep," Jacob ordered from his command chair. "Nothing yet, sir," reported the sensor officer. "Wait. I'm getting readings. Multiple contacts appearing. They're coming out of some kind of quantum jump." Through the main window, reality seemed to tear open. Flashes of light erupted in the darkness. One by one, alien warships appeared. They were massive vessels with strange designs. Sharp angles and curved surfaces mixed together in ways that seemed wrong to human eyes. 12 ships, sir," Claire announced. Her voice stayed steady. "They're bigger than our destroyers, but smaller than the Defiant. I'm reading heavy weapons on all of them." The alien ships moved into formation. They positioned themselves in a half-circle around the Defiant. It was a battle formation. The message was clear. These aliens weren't here to be friends. "Incoming transmission," Linda said. She worked frantically to translate it. "I'm getting video." Putting it on screen. The main display showed an alien face. It had 4 eyes arranged in a square pattern. Its skin was dark blue and covered with scales. When it spoke, sharp teeth showed in its mouth. "I am War Leader Thrain of the Vaxel Concordat," the alien said. Linda's computer translated the words into English. "You are the species called humans. We have studied your probe encounter. We know where you come from." Jacob stood up from his chair. He made sure he looked calm and confident. "I am Commander Jacob Hayes of Earth. We come in peace to establish dialogue." Thrain made a sound that might have been laughter. "Peace is not your choice to make. The Vaxel Concordat rules this region of space. 7 species bow to our authority. Now you will do the same." "Earth bows to no one," Jacob said firmly. "We seek peaceful relations with all species. But we will not submit to demands." The alien's 4 eyes narrowed with anger. "You are young and foolish. Your species has barely left your home planet. We have conquered stars for thousands of years. Submit or be destroyed." Jacob felt his crew watching him. Earth was watching too. His next words would shape humanity's future in the galaxy. "We request time to consult with our government. Surely the Concordat can grant us that courtesy." Thrain seemed to consider this. "You have one of your hours. Then you will answer. Choose wisely, human." The transmission ended. Jacob immediately opened a secure channel to Earth. Admiral Frank Morrison appeared on the screen. Behind him stood other members of the United Defense Council. "We heard everything, Commander," Frank said. "The Council is in agreement. We will not submit to alien rule. Humanity didn't come this far to become slaves." "Sir, they have 12 warships," Jacob said. "We're alone out here." "The Defiant was built for this exact situation," Frank replied. "You have the most powerful vessel ever constructed. Those aliens don't know what human engineering can do. Show them. Defend our right to exist." Jacob felt the weight of command settle on his shoulders. "Understood, sir. We'll make humanity proud." The hour passed slowly. The crew prepared for combat. Weapon systems charged to full power. Shield generators hummed with energy. Everyone knew the peaceful era had ended. Humanity would now show the galaxy what it could do. Peter worked in engineering to squeeze every bit of power from the reactors. Claire double-checked every targeting solution. Linda prepared communication jamming systems. The Defiant was ready. When the hour ended, Thrain's face appeared again on the screen. "What is your answer, human?" Jacob stood tall. "Humanity will never submit. We claim our right to exist as a free and independent species. If the Vaxel Concordat wants war, we will defend ourselves." Thrain's expression showed shock, then anger. "You are fools. We will destroy you and then conquer your planet. Your species will learn humility." "You're welcome to try," Jacob said calmly. The alien warships began to move. Their weapons powered up. Energy readings spiked across every scanner. The Vaxel Concordat was preparing to attack. "All hands, battle stations," Jacob ordered. "Power up all defensive systems. Prepare to engage." The Defiant's experimental systems came fully online. Energy flowed through circuits and generators that had never been tested in real combat. The ship's true power began to show. Sensor readings climbed higher and higher. On the Vaxel command ship, Thrain watched his sensors with growing confusion. "What is that ship? Power levels are... That can't be right. Check the readings again." His officers worked frantically. "Sir, the readings are correct. That human vessel is generating more power than our entire fleet combined." For the first time, doubt entered Thrain's mind. Maybe these humans weren't as primitive as he thought. Maybe they had been hiding something. But it was too late to stop now. The Vaxel fleet fired their weapons. Plasma torpedoes and particle beams shot toward the Defiant. The battle for humanity's freedom had begun. The Vaxel weapons struck the Defiant with tremendous force. Plasma torpedoes exploded against its hull. Particle beams tore through space. The alien attack was coordinated and powerful. War leader Thrain watched his screens, confident the human ship would be torn apart. But nothing happened. The Defiant sat in space, completely undamaged. Its experimental shield matrix absorbed every attack without even flickering. Inside the ship, the crew barely felt the impacts. Shields holding at 98%, Lieutenant Claire Bennett reported. She sounded almost surprised. Their weapons can't penetrate our defenses, sir. Commander Jacob Hayes allowed himself a small smile. 50 years of secret development had created something remarkable. The aliens had no idea what they were facing. Return fire, Jacob ordered calmly. Disable their weapon systems only. I want them alive to learn a lesson. Claire's fingers moved across her controls. Targeting solutions locked. Firing graviton cannons. The Defiant's main weapons activated for the first time in combat. Blue energy beams shot from the massive cannons. They didn't look like normal weapons. The beams bent and curved through space in impossible ways. When they hit the first Vaxel ship, something strange happened. The alien vessel's weapons simply stopped working. The graviton beams created localized gravity fields that crushed the weapon systems without destroying the ship itself. It was surgical precision at an incredible scale. Target destroyed, Claire announced. Moving to targets 2 and 3. 2 more blue beams shot out. 2 more Vaxel ships lost their weapons. The alien fleet fell into chaos. Their communications channels filled with confused and frightened voices. On the Vaxel command ship, Thrain stared at his screens in disbelief. How is this possible? Their technology... It shouldn't be this advanced. Sir, we need to retreat, one of his officers said urgently. We can't fight this. No. Thrain shouted. We have 9 ships left. Concentrate all fire on one point. We'll overwhelm their shields. The remaining Vaxel vessels moved into a tight formation. They fired everything they had at the same spot on the Defiant's hull. Dozens of weapons struck simultaneously. The combined firepower could have destroyed a planet. Inside the Defiant, the crew felt a slight vibration. That was all. Shields at 94%, Claire reported. They're not even close to breaking through. Chief Engineer Peter Coleman watched his monitors in engineering. The shield generators were barely working. The Defiant had been built to withstand much worse than this. We could sit here all day and let them shoot us, Peter said to his team. These shields won't fail. Jacob decided it was time to end this. Lieutenant Bennett, target their propulsion systems. All remaining hostile vessels. Fire when ready. The Defiant's point defense railguns came online. These were smaller weapons, but incredibly fast and accurate. Hundreds of projectiles shot out at near-light speed. Each one found its target with perfect precision. The Vaxel ships couldn't dodge. Their engines sparked and failed. One by one, the alien vessels went dead in space. They couldn't move, couldn't fight, couldn't run. They were completely helpless. The entire engagement lasted 4 minutes. Thrain sat in his command chair, stunned into silence. His entire fleet had been neutralized without the human ship taking any real damage. His 4 eyes stared at the Defiant on his screen. The massive vessel looked completely untouched. It simply floated there, waiting. Sir, they're hailing us, a communications officer said quietly. Thrain wanted to refuse. His pride screamed at him to fight on somehow. But he was a warrior, not a fool. He had lost this battle completely. Put them through. Jacob's face appeared on the screen. His expression was serious but not angry. War leader Thrain, your fleet is disabled. You cannot fight and you cannot escape. I'm offering you a choice. Surrender and negotiate, or we will destroy your ships. What do you decide? Every instinct Thrain had told him to refuse. The Vaxel Concordat had never surrendered. They were the conquerors, not the conquered. But looking at the human ship, Thrain realized something important. This wasn't about pride anymore. This was about survival. I request parley, Thrain said slowly. The words tasted bitter in his mouth. Under the laws of honorable warfare. Granted, Jacob replied immediately. "Stand by for a secure channel." The transmission changed to a private line. Only Jacob and Thrain could hear the conversation now. The alien leader looked defeated and confused. "How?" Thrain asked simply. "Your species barely has faster-than-light travel. You should be centuries behind us. How do you have technology like this?" Jacob chose his words carefully. What he said next would shape humanity's relationship with the entire galaxy. "We've been watching you. All of you. For decades, we've known about the Vaxel Concordat and other alien civilizations. We've studied your technology, your tactics, your strengths and weaknesses." Thrain's 4 eyes widened with shock. "You've been spying on us?" "We've been cautious," Jacob corrected. "Humanity learned long ago that the galaxy might be dangerous. We prepared before revealing ourselves. The probe encounter was not our first contact. It was just the first time we allowed ourselves to be found. But your ship, the power levels are impossible." Jacob smiled slightly. "The Defiant represents 50 years of military development. We took everything we learned from observing galactic civilizations and improved upon it. Human engineering focuses on efficiency and power. We built the best ship we could imagine." Thrain felt his understanding of the universe shift. These humans weren't primitive newcomers. They were patient hunters who had watched and learned before striking. "How many ships like the Defiant do you have?" "That information will be shared during formal negotiations," Jacob replied diplomatically. But Communications Officer Linda Park had been waiting for this question. She activated a program that Roger Chen, their electronic warfare specialist, had prepared. The program hacked into the Vaxel communication network. It was surprisingly easy. Suddenly, Thrain's screens filled with new data. Images of 12 massive warships appeared. All of them were Titan-class vessels like the Defiant. Some were even larger. The message was clear. Humanity had an entire fleet of these superweapons. 12, Thrain whispered. "You have 12 of these monsters." "We believe in being prepared," Jacob said. "Now, War Leader, let's discuss terms. You will return to Concordat space. You will report everything that happened here. Tell your leaders that humanity seeks peace, but we will defend ourselves against any aggression. We will not submit, and we will not be conquered." Thrain nodded slowly. He had no choice. "What about my ships? My crews? We'll repair your engines enough for you to return home. But your weapons will stay disabled until you leave human territory. Consider it a gesture of goodwill. We could have destroyed you, but we chose mercy." "Why?" Thrain asked. "We came to conquer you. Why show mercy?" Jacob thought about this question. "Because war should be the last option, not the first. We want to live peacefully with other species. But make no mistake. If the Concordat or anyone else threatens Earth again, we won't be merciful a second time." The conversation ended. Jacob opened a channel to all Vaxel ships. "This is Commander Hayes. Our engineering teams will help repair your engines. You have safe passage out of this system. Use this time to think about what happened here today." Chief Engineer Peter Coleman led teams to the disabled Vaxel ships. They worked quickly and professionally. The aliens watched in amazement as human engineers fixed their propulsion systems in hours. The technology gap was even larger than they thought. Back on Earth, Admiral Frank Morrison watched everything through the quantum relay. The United Defense Council stood behind him. Everyone had witnessed humanity's first military victory against an alien power. "The galaxy is going to react to this," General Marcus Webb said. "Some will fear us. Others might try to ally with us. Then we'll deal with each situation as it comes," Frank replied. "But one thing is clear now. Humanity is not going to be pushed around. We've earned our place among the stars." On the Defiant, Jacob looked out at the disabled alien fleet. His crew had performed perfectly. Not a single human had been injured. The ship had barely been scratched. It was a complete victory. But Jacob knew this was just the beginning. Word would spread across the galaxy. Other species would learn about humanity's power. Some would respect it. Others would challenge it. The peaceful days were over. Humanity had announced itself to the galaxy in the only language that every species understood. The language of strength. 3 hours after the battle ended, War Leader Thrain sat in his damaged command ship and wrote his report. His hands shook slightly as he typed. He had fought in 50 battles during his career. He had conquered 12 different species. Never once had he experienced complete defeat like this. The human engineers had finished repairing the Vaxel engines. Thrain watched them work through his windows. They moved with confidence and skill. They treated his crew with respect, not like defeated enemies. It made the defeat harder to accept somehow. "Sir, the other ship is arriving," his sensor officer announced. Thrain looked at his screens. Another massive vessel appeared from faster-than-light travel. It was similar to the Defiant, but even larger. The name printed on its hull read, "Resilience," in human letters. Admiral Frank Morrison commanded this second Titan-class warship. "2 of them," Thrain muttered. They sent 2 of their most powerful ships just to make a point. The Resilience moved into position beside the Defiant. The 2 human warships floated together in space. Their size and power made Thrain's fleet look like children's toys. Every Vaxel crew member could see them through their windows. The message was impossible to miss. Admiral Frank Morrison's face appeared on every Vaxel screen. His voice was firm but not cruel. "I am Admiral Morrison of the Earth Defense Force. I'm here to formalize the agreement between our peoples. Commander Hayes has shown you humanity's military capability. Now I will show you our diplomatic intentions." A secure channel opened between the 3 commanding officers. Jacob Hayes, Frank Morrison, and Thrain appeared on split screens. The 2 humans looked calm and professional. Thrain felt exhausted and defeated. "These are the terms," Frank began without wasting time. "First, the Vaxel Concordat will recognize Earth and all human colonies as sovereign territory. No Concordat ships will enter our space without permission. Second, you will report everything that happened here to your leadership. Third, humanity is willing to establish diplomatic relations and trade agreements if the Concordat proves peaceful." Thrain listened carefully. The terms were fair, almost generous. The humans could have demanded tribute or territory. Instead, they only wanted to be left alone and treated with respect. "What if the Concordat refuses these terms?" he asked. "Then there will be war," Frank said simply. "And the Concordat will lose. You've seen what one Titan-class ship can do. We have 12 of them. We also have orbital defense stations, planetary shields, and weapon systems you haven't seen yet. We spent 50 years preparing for first contact. We hoped for peace but prepared for war." Jacob added, "War Leader Thrain, you're a veteran officer. You understand military power. Can the Concordat defeat us?" Thrain thought about this question honestly. His fleet had been destroyed in 4 minutes. The human shields had barely registered the attack. Their weapons were decades ahead of anything the Concordat possessed. 12 of these superships could probably conquer the entire Concordat. "No," Thrain admitted. "We cannot defeat you. Not with current technology. Maybe not ever." "Then peace is the logical choice," Frank said. "We don't want to conquer anyone. We just want to exist freely and explore the galaxy. Help us achieve that, and humanity will be a valuable ally to the Concordat." Over the next hour, they discussed details. Communication protocols, territorial boundaries, trade possibilities. Thrain found himself respecting these humans. They were strong but not cruel. Confident but not arrogant. They had won completely but showed mercy. "One question," Thrain said near the end. "Why did you hide for so long? Why not reveal yourselves peacefully before any conflict?" Jacob and Frank exchanged glances. Jacob answered first. "Because we learned from human history. On Earth, when technologically advanced civilizations met primitive ones, the primitive culture usually got destroyed or enslaved. We didn't know if the galaxy operated the same way. So we watched and learned first. We sent stealth probes to observe hundreds of alien worlds," Frank continued. "We studied your languages, your technology, your military tactics. We saw how the Concordat conquered weaker species. We saw the wars and the territorial disputes. We decided Earth needed to be strong before making contact. Thrain felt a chill run through his body. How long were you watching us? 40 years, Frank admitted. We've observed the Concordat since you conquered the Peleth species in your western territory. We've watched 12 different conflicts. We learned everything we could. The alien war leader sat back in his chair. 40 years. These humans had been studying the galaxy for 40 years before making themselves known. They had prepared an entire military force based on galactic combat data. They had turned themselves into a superpower before anyone knew they existed. You're terrifying, Thrain said quietly. Your patience is terrifying. We prefer to call it wisdom, Jacob replied with a slight smile. The negotiations concluded. Thrain accepted all the terms. He had no real choice, but he also believed the humans would honor their word. They had shown mercy when they could have shown violence. That meant something. The Vaxel fleet prepared to leave. Their engines were repaired, but their weapons remained disabled. They would limp home and tell their leaders what happened. Thrain knew this would shake the entire Concordat to its core. Before departing, Thrain sent a final private message to Jacob. Commander Hayes, I came here to conquer you. I treated you as primitives who needed to submit. I was wrong. Completely wrong. I hope our species can be friends someday. Jacob replied simply, So do I, war leader. Safe travels. The Vaxel ships jumped to faster-than-light speed and vanished. The battle site became empty except for the 2 human warships. Jacob and Frank opened a video channel between their bridges. That went well, Frank said with satisfaction. Better than expected, actually. Thrain is honorable, Jacob replied. He'll give an honest report. But what about the rest of the Concordat? What about the other 5 alien species in their coalition? We'll find out soon enough. I expect diplomatic communications within a week. Everyone will want to know about the new power in the galaxy. On Earth, news of the victory spread across every continent. People celebrated in the streets. Humanity had met aliens and proved it could defend itself. The long years of secret preparation had paid off. But in government offices and military headquarters, leaders prepared for what came next. Lieutenant Claire Bennett received a promotion and a new assignment. She would command a patrol ship on the border of human space. Her job was to watch for any threats. Communications Officer Linda Park joined the diplomatic corps. Her skills with alien languages made her valuable for future negotiations. She would help build bridges between humanity and other species. Chief Engineer Peter Coleman stayed with the Defiant. His expertise kept the ship running at peak efficiency. He trained new engineers in the advanced systems that made Titan-class ships so powerful. Captain Daniel Wright and Lieutenant Maya Johnson on the Horizon's Edge received new orders. They would lead exploration missions into unknown space. But this time, they wouldn't go alone. Alien observers from friendly species would join them. Humanity would explore the galaxy openly now. War leader Thrain reached Concordat space 5 days later. He transmitted his full report to the Concordat High Council. The 7 species that made up the coalition gathered to read it. What they learned changed everything they thought they knew about the galaxy. A new power had emerged. A species that had hidden itself and prepared carefully before revealing its strength. A civilization that valued both peace and power equally. The humans were not conquerors, but they would not be conquered either. Within days, 4 different alien species sent diplomatic communications to Earth. They wanted to establish embassies and trade relations. Some were afraid of human military power. Others were impressed by human mercy. All of them wanted to be friends rather than enemies. The Concordat High Council debated for days. Some members wanted revenge for the humiliation. Others wanted peace. Finally, wisdom prevailed. They sent an official diplomatic mission to Earth. The message was clear. The Vaxel Concordat accepted human sovereignty and desired peaceful relations. Commander Jacob Hayes stood on the bridge of the Defiant and read the Concordat's message. He felt relief wash over him. War had been avoided. Humanity had claimed its place in the galaxy without widespread bloodshed. We did it, Lieutenant Claire Bennett said from her station. We actually did it. We did, Jacob agreed. But this is just the beginning. Now comes the hard part. Building lasting peace. Proving we can be trusted. Showing the galaxy that humanity deserves respect. The Defiant remained on patrol at the edge of human space. A symbol of humanity's determination to protect itself. A warning to anyone who might threaten Earth. But also a promise. Humanity would defend the weak and honor its commitments. The galaxy had changed forever. A new voice had joined the chorus of civilizations. And that voice spoke with strength, wisdom, and hope for the future. 6 months had passed since the encounter with the Vaxel Concordat. The galaxy had changed in ways nobody could have predicted. Earth's United Defense Council building buzzed with activity every single day. Diplomatic meetings, trade negotiations, and cultural exchanges filled the schedule. Admiral Frank Morrison stood in the observation deck looking at Earth below. 4 alien ambassadors walked beside him. They represented 4 different species who wanted friendship with humanity. He had given them a tour of the orbital defense station. "Your defensive capabilities are impressive," said Ambassador Kellix of the Theran Unity. She was a tall, slender being with silver skin. "We've never seen shields this powerful." "We believe in protecting our home," Frank replied diplomatically. "But we also believe in protecting our friends. Several species have asked about purchasing human shield technology." "And will you sell it?" asked Ambassador Vorin, a stout creature with rocky skin from the Granite Collective. Frank smiled. "We're willing to share defensive technology with proven allies. But we need time to build trust first. Weapons technology will remain exclusively human for now." The ambassadors understood. They had all read the reports about what happened to Thrain's fleet. Nobody wanted to be on the receiving end of human weapons. Making friends with Earth seemed much smarter than making enemies. On the planet's surface, the first alien embassy opened in Geneva. The Concordat had sent diplomats to establish formal relations. War leader Thrain himself attended the opening ceremony. He had been promoted to Ambassador General after his honest report about human capabilities. Thrain stood in the embassy building and looked at the human officials gathered around him. 6 months ago, I came to your space planning to conquer you," he said in his speech. "Today, I stand here as a friend. My defeat taught me humility. But more than that, it taught me respect. Humanity earned its place in the galaxy through preparation, wisdom, and strength. The Concordat is honored to call you allies." The humans in the room applauded. They appreciated Thrain's honesty. Building trust after conflict was never easy, but both sides were trying. Commander Jacob Hayes had received new responsibilities. He still commanded the Defiant, but now he also served as humanity's chief military liaison to alien governments. He spent half his time in meetings and half his time patrolling human space. Today he met with military officers from 3 different alien species. They wanted to observe human training exercises. Jacob agreed, seeing it as a chance to build military cooperation. "Our combat doctrine focuses on defensive strength and surgical precision," Jacob explained to the alien officers. "We don't believe in overwhelming firepower that destroys everything. We believe in targeted strikes that disable enemies without unnecessary casualties." The aliens watched human pilots practice combat maneuvers. The coordination and skill impressed them greatly. These humans had turned warfare into a science. "Your pilots are excellent," observed Commander Greth of the Vaxel fleet. "How long does training take?" 4 years minimum, Jacob replied. "We invest heavily in our people. Good technology helps, but skilled operators make the real difference." Lieutenant Claire Bennett now commanded the patrol ship Vigilant. She led a mixed crew of humans and aliens on border patrol missions. Having aliens serve on human ships was still new, but it helped build understanding between species. Claire stood on her bridge and reviewed the day's patrol route. Beside her stood Ensign Kira, a young Theran officer who had volunteered to serve with humans. "What do you think of serving on a human ship?" Claire asked. "It's different from what I expected," Kira replied. Her silver skin seemed to shimmer as she spoke. "I thought humans would be more aggressive, more militaristic. But you're professional and careful. You avoid conflict when possible." "We learned that lesson on Earth," Claire said. Before we unified, humans fought terrible wars against each other. We almost destroyed ourselves several times. Those experiences taught us that war should always be the last option. Captain Daniel Wright and Lieutenant Maya Johnson led the exploration vessel Horizon's Edge into uncharted territory. 2 alien scientists traveled with them. The mission was to discover new worlds and make peaceful contact with any civilizations they found. Maya studied her sensors as they approached a promising star system. I'm detecting artificial structures in orbit around the 4th planet. Signs of industrial civilization. Daniel made the decision carefully. Slow approach. Power down weapons systems. Send a friendship message in multiple languages. Let's do this right. The inhabitants of the planet detected their arrival. After some tense hours, communication was established. The species called themselves the Ithori. They were a peaceful people who had been afraid to explore beyond their system. They feared aggressive aliens like the Concordat. We come from Earth, Daniel explained through the translation software. We're exploring and making new friends. We mean you no harm. The Ithori were cautious but curious. Over several days, trust built between the 2 species. Eventually, the Ithori agreed to establish diplomatic relations with Earth. They would join the growing network of species allied with humanity. Back on Earth, young people lined up to join the space fleet. Ensign Kevin Ross was one of thousands of new recruits. He had watched the news coverage of the Concordat encounter. Seeing Commander Hayes stand strong against alien threats had inspired him. "Why did you join?" his training instructor asked during orientation. "Because humanity needs defenders," Kevin answered. "Because we're part of something bigger now. We're not alone in the universe anymore. I want to help protect Earth and explore the galaxy." Thousands of other recruits gave similar answers. A new generation was growing up knowing that aliens existed. They saw the galaxy as a place of both danger and opportunity. The Earth Defense Force expanded rapidly. 3 more Titan-class ships were under construction. Dozens of smaller patrol and exploration vessels were being built. Humanity was preparing for a permanent presence among the stars. But the focus wasn't only military. Human scientists worked with alien researchers on joint projects. Medical knowledge was shared between species. New technologies emerged from cross-species cooperation. The benefits of peace were becoming clear to everyone. One day, War Leader Thrain requested a private meeting with Jacob Hayes. They met in a secure conference room on the Earth orbital station. The alien ambassador looked serious. "I have news from Concordat space," Thrain said. "Some of our member species are unhappy with human power. They fear you will eventually conquer us all." Jacob listened carefully. "What do they want?" "Proof that humanity can be trusted. Demonstrations of good faith. Some want technology sharing. Others want military cooperation against common threats." "What do you think?" Jacob asked. Thrain was quiet for a moment. "I think humanity has already shown good faith. You defeated my fleet but showed mercy. You could have demanded tribute but asked only for respect. You share defensive technology with allies. But fear is not always logical. Some species need more convincing." Jacob nodded thoughtfully. "We expected this. Fear of the unknown is natural. We'll work to build more trust. But we won't weaken ourselves to make others comfortable. Earth's security comes first." "I understand. I just wanted you to know the situation." Over the following weeks, humanity made several goodwill gestures. Human medical teams helped fight a plague on a Concordat world. Human engineers helped repair damage from a natural disaster on another planet. Human patrol ships helped protect trade routes from pirates. Actions spoke louder than words. Slowly, the fearful species began to see humanity differently. These weren't conquerors waiting to strike. These were people who helped their neighbors and kept their promises. Commander Jacob Hayes stood on the bridge of the Defiant one evening. The ship patrolled the border of human space as always. He looked at the stars through the main window and thought about how much had changed. Humanity had gone from being alone to being part of a galactic community. Earth had proven it could defend itself, but also that it preferred peace. The Titan-class ships had become symbols of human determination and strength. Lieutenant Claire Bennett's voice came through the communication system. "Commander, this is the Vigilant. All quiet on our patrol sector. No threats detected. Acknowledged. Vigilant. Maintain standard patrol pattern." Similar reports came from other ships. The border was secure. Human space was safe. The defensive network that had taken 50 years to build was working perfectly. On Earth, children looked up at the night sky with wonder. They knew that somewhere up there, humans were exploring new worlds and meeting alien friends. The universe had gotten so much bigger and more interesting. Admiral Frank Morrison met with the United Defense Council to review humanity's status. "We've established diplomatic relations with 18 different species," he reported. "Trade agreements are in place with 12 of them. Our military remains strong, and no threats are currently detected." "What about future expansion?" asked one council member. "We're taking it slowly," Frank replied. "We don't want to appear aggressive. But we're quietly surveying systems for potential colonies. In 5 years, humanity will have settlements on 6 new worlds. In 10 years, maybe 20. The Council approved the plan. Humanity would grow carefully and steadily. No rushing, no mistakes. They had learned patience during the 50 years of secret preparation. Back on the Defiant, Jacob received a message from his family on Earth. His daughter had been accepted into the Space Academy. She wanted to follow in his footsteps. Pride filled his chest. "The future looks bright," he said to his crew. "We proved humanity deserves respect. Now we have to keep earning it every single day." The Defiant continued its patrol. The stars shone peacefully in every direction. Somewhere out there, other species watched humanity with a mixture of respect, curiosity, and caution. The galaxy had gained a new power. A civilization that valued both strength and wisdom. Earth had claimed its place among the stars. And humanity was ready for whatever adventures came next. The Titan-class warships stood guard. The explorers searched for new worlds. The diplomats built bridges between species. And every human, whether on Earth or in space, knew they were part of something historic. The age of human isolation had ended. The age of galactic cooperation had begun. And it had all started with one encounter, one battle, and one simple message. Humanity would bow to no one. But it would stand beside anyone who offered genuine friendship. The galaxy was learning that lesson. And the galaxy was better for it.